Hello and welcome to Interview with DJ Nocturna. I'm back again, and then this time I'm talking with the legendary Len Liggins, who is the lead vocalist and violinist for the legendary band, the Ukrainians. They were actually the first to fuse Western rock music with Ukrainian folk. Is that right?
Yeah, indeed.
Welcome.
Yeah, that's be the case. Thank you.
Yeah, welcome to the show, Len. Yeah, thank you for joining me. You know, I'm always enjoying my interviews because I learn something a little bit, and and I like to share it with everyone else. So thank you for being here. Big shout out to Shauna, Shameless Promotion PR, who always has like the most interesting clients and musicians, very talented ones indeed. So you know, I know you collaborated with the legendary Jah Wobble and Jon Klein. I want to talk about that a little bit later. But let's talk a little bit about the Ukrainians, you know, for people who may not be familiar. I know you guys are certainly legendary. You've been around since, what, the 80s? Yeah.
Yeah, 31 years.
Yeah. So how did that all happen, and, you know, that kind of stuff?
Well, like a lot of these things, it happened by accident, really. There's a band, some of your listeners may be familiar with them, called The Wedding Present, that were, still are, a British indie guitar band. And Peter, who's the guitarist in the Ukrainians, was a member of them at that time. They had a John Peel session, booked radio session on Radio 1 with the legendary DJ John Peel. Yeah. And they have enough songs to record a session. So Peter suggested, well, I know some Ukrainian folk tunes. How about we do some of those? And the band liked the idea. So they asked me if I wanted to join. I wasn't a member of the Wedding Present, but they asked me if I wanted to join for that radio session, and I did. So I had 2 weeks to learn how to get my head around Ukrainian.
Oh yeah.
And also to dig out my fiddle, because I hadn't played it since I was at primary school. And we did the session. We rehearsed for a couple of weeks. We did the session, and it was incredibly popular. It got repeated 4 or 5 times on the John Peel show. And then we got invited to do another one. So we did that, and that was incredibly popular. And to try and cut this story short, the band, The Wedding Present, were just about to sign to a major label. And so those 2 John Peel sessions were released as the first Wedding Present release on this major label, BMG. So it actually did really well. It got into the top 25 in the actual indie chart, in the actual album chart, not just the indie chart, in the actual album chart. So it sold about 75,000 copies or something.
Yeah, that record is also famous for being the only Ukrainian language to feature in the UK charts, right?
Yes, that's right. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's amazing. And that's back in the late 80s, right? During that time.
Yeah. So I mean, that in itself is a pretty unusual feat, you know, to have anything that isn't in English in a pop chart is pretty amazing. But as a result, Peter and myself, and there was also a guy called Roman who joined us for the second Peel session. The 3 of us went off and started the Ukrainians. So Pete left The Wedding Present, and we started the Ukrainians. That would have been in 1991, and coincidentally, we played our first gigs just as Ukraine had gained its independence from the Soviet Union. So it was, you know, quite a significant time to be starting the band.
So do you speak the language as well?
Well, I've been teaching myself for over 30 years,
Yeah.
probably probably the best part of 35 years. And I did have a knowledge from my studies. I was a student of modern Slavonic languages at Leeds University, where I studied Russian and Czech. So to actually get my head around Ukrainian wasn't as difficult as it would be for someone starting from scratch.
Well, you all had a passion. Obviously, you all connected that way.
Yeah, absolutely. It was something very new. It's something very different. You know, it wasn't just another, you know, two guitars, bass and drums band singing songs in English about love. You know, it was something very different. So it was really enjoyable. We were really, really into it. And so, yeah, we recorded the Ukrainians album. We started doing gigs in the UK, and then that spread to Germany. We played loads of tours in Germany and then in Poland, and it just took off on its own, really. You know, it was almost like didn't have to do much in the way of promotion. It just took off. It was amazing.
You know what I find really interesting, which I really love, is that you guys also did covers of some Smiths. I don't know how many, I think a couple or maybe more. I'm not sure, but I think that's wonderful. I love the Smiths.
Yeah, me too. Yes, I mean, there are three strings to our bow, if you like. There are traditional Ukrainian songs that we play. There are our own compositions that we write, and I write the lyrics for those because you know I've like I say I've got to know the language, and we write the songs in using kind of folk styles, you know, for the structures of the songs and so on, and for the chord progressions and so on. But we also do cover versions, as you say, of classic.
Yeah, you know, Venus and Furs. It's one of my favorite songs by the Velvet Underground, and you guys actually covered that, which I like the version.
Great, yeah. I mean, we did a whole album of cover versions at one point called "A History of Rock Music in Ukrainian," and that's got it's got a Smith song and Venus in Furs and songs by oh crikey, trying to remember now. REM.
You know what I really like was the Christmas song. That's my favorite Christmas song, Carol the Bells.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know if a lot of people is gonna know this, but that is a Ukrainian folk song, right? Originally.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the most famous Ukrainian tune in the world. Yeah, it is. It's stunning. And yeah, so we did a kind of a pumped up version of that.
Version. Yeah, that's really. I'm gonna play that. I don't care if it's not Christmas, but I'm gonna play it.
Excellent.
I think it's beautiful. Yeah, I love that song, and it's always nice to hear a different version of it. You know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
okay. Yeah.
No, I said go ahead.
Yeah, no. We got. I think we got.
So it's just interesting how you know, I'm just you know, people want to check your music. You can, there's a website. It's called the Ukrainians.com. Well, it's the and then dash Ukrainians.com, right?
Yeah, the Ukrainians.com. Yeah. And people that very often spell Ukrainians wrong, so it's UKRAINIAN. Yeah.
I know. And you guys have some videos in there. I was looking at them. So are these like newly releases of the video?
We did a DVD recently, which has collected together all our videos. There are 30 videos on it. It is in PAL format, so I'm not sure how well that. I think most DVD players these days play NTSC and PAL and CCAM and whatever. We've put that together, and that's got videos from our last 30 years. Some films that have been done to some of our tracks, animations, live footage, studio videos, all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, I was looking at this video that I don't know if it's a new one, but it says where are you from?
Oh yes, yeah.
Is that a more recent one?
That's a video for a song from our Summer in Lviv album, which was our last studio album in 2019, and it's about the way immigrants tend to get treated when they go over to a country, and not necessarily prejudice, but people very often seem to get a bit flustered when they're asked, where are you from, when they come into a country. And it's not always a kind of that it can be a positive thing or it can be a negative thing. Sometimes people are just naturally interested in where people come from. Sometimes they want to find out because they don't like foreigners or whatever, but I think sometimes we hear people saying, oh, I get a bit upset when people ask me where are you from. But anyway, that song's about that, and about any prejudice that they might feel from people, just saying, look, we've come over to your country. I've left my family. I'm lonely. I'm looking for work. This is the position I'm in. I'm a hard worker. Give me a break. That's what.
Yeah, and then I know there's a more recent one. Here's a new recording of your classic song, Across the River. And that's a new version, right?
It is, yeah. We thought we'd try a new version. The original version, while people seem to like it, it was recorded over 30 years ago, and we kind of think, we could have done a better version of that, really. But the band had only started, and we thought, well, let's give it another go. And we got a Ukrainian choir in as well to sing on it, which was something different.
Yeah, wow. Well, I know you have a new song out. It's out now. It's called the Ukrainian National Anthem in dub, which is a different recording and with the legendary Jah Wobble and Jon Klein from Siouxsie and Banshees.
Yeah.
I was really, he's such an amazing bassist, In fact, I have his book.
Yes.
Yeah, he's an amazing bassist. And I've always been a big fan of Public Image Limited. And so when I saw that, I'm like, whoa, wow, okay. So I had to listen to it. And so how did you guys connected? You and
again, it's one of these accidental things. We used to rehearse at a studio in Leeds called Old Chapel, and the guy that run the place is a guy called Mark Hubbard, who is now the bass tech for Jah Wobble. So he accompanies him on tour, and when the Russian invasion happened, Mark said, well, I know these guys, that sing Ukrainian music. Why don't you do something together to try and raise some cash for the refugees? So Mark contacted me and asked me if I'd be up for it. And I said, well, yeah, because we'd been doing concerts to try and raise money for the refugees, and as many things that we can do as possible to raise more money, but we were up for it. So
it's good. I mean, it just happened. I mean, it's really like meant to be, I guess.
Yeah, and it's
perfect timing.
It's good. I like the idea of of the anthem being set to kind of dub music, and I really like Jah Wobble. I'm a fan of his anyway, and so it's really good to meet him. Mark set up a meeting with him and us. I went to see them live at the Chelsea Arts Club in London, and we had a chat afterwards, and we kind of hatched the plan to do the track.
Yeah, and so this track was actually produced, recorded, and mixed by him, right?
Yeah, with Jon Klein. Jon Klein.
Yep.
Yeah, with Jon Klein from Siouxsie and the Banshees. He did a lot of the technical work on it, but Jah Wobble did the played bass and did the dub bits and so on, and then myself and the rest of the Ukrainians went and did the vocal parts, and then so we Jon Klein has put them all together, and Jon, as in Jah Wobble, two Johns, produced the whole thing, put the whole thing together.
And so the money raised from this will be going to medical aid and clothing for the Ukrainian refugees. And,
it will, yeah, it'll be going for food, for medical supplies, for clothing, support for refugees. We do get asked the question, is any of the money going to fund armaments? And it's most definitely not. We're not, as a band, and I think we can say the same probably for the two Johns. We're concerned about the people that are caught up in this and whose lives have been complete and absolutely destroyed. And so any help we can give to them is fine. We're not funding guns and things to kill anybody.
Oh yeah, good. Yeah. I know that. I know there's several charities. I think here. I just want to mention them. I mean, if you can go ahead and mention the charities.
I haven't got them with me. One of the main one is the Disaster Emergency Committee's Help Ukraine appeal. And so that's I think that's the UN one, which is specifically set up, to help refugees.
Yeah, and I think the other one is called the Association of Ukrainians in Great Britain.
That's right.
Emergency appeal.
Yeah, we've been sending some money to their appeal as well from our live concerts. So
And I know that there's you also have on your website some charity T-shirts if people want to donate to that.
We do indeed, yeah, and that can be a good way of doing it as well, because there's T-shirts have a bit of a markup on them, so each T-shirt we sell, a good few pounds goes to all the profit goes to the appeals as well.
Yeah, and if somebody can't really afford a lot of money for a big donation, they can get a shirt. Anyway, any help. And you got some charity button badge too as well for the Ukrainian.
We've actually run out of those at the moment, but so it's the T-shirts really. Yeah, the button badges went really quickly. We're still going to keep the T-shirts going.
Yeah, and then the people go on your website, they can click on it, and then it'll take them to this Just Giving. It's a crowdfunding to support Ukrainian refugees.
Yeah,
you guys raised quite a bit of money already, so and then it's gonna continue on.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, so far in the concerts, we did 8 concerts and we raised £30,000 so far. So yeah, it all helps, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I know there's a lot of other charities out there and other people doing the same thing, which is all good. It's good to join the bandwagon, help out. I mean, I donated to the Red Cross when this first happened. Through a website from my work. Because sometimes you don't know, you can't really trust everything. Single thing is when it comes directly from a source, like for example you guys, because you have a link that goes from your website on. Yeah, so that's really good. And the song, of course, people can find it. The Ukrainian National Anthem and dub, Jah Wobble, Jon Klein, and the Ukrainians. They can find it on Bandcamp.
Yeah,
your Bandcamp and Jah Wobble's Bandcamp.
Yeah, it's if you just type into your search engine Jah Wobble Ukrainian National Anthem in dub, and the Ukrainians, and Bandcamp, I guess. Then yeah, it'll come up, and you can make your donation from there.
Oh yeah. Okay, that's another way. I was wondering, is there let me see. Are you guys gonna be doing a little bit more with different versions of the, I don't know, the song, different mixes?
That's possible. We have been approached by a number of people asking if they can remix the track. Now, at the moment, there's one guy doing a remix of the track, and his name is Harry Kakuli. Now, he used to be the bass player in Squeeze, but he's since, you know, for the last how many decades, has been into world music. So a bit like Jah Wobble, really, you know, a bass player and into world music. But he's contacted us and asked if he can do a remix. So he's in the process of doing that now. He's actually over in Cyprus, doing that as we speak. And I think there might be another mix going on as well, that a guy called Brian O'Neill from Dimple Discs is sorting. So I don't have much information about that one yet.
And I wonder if Jah Wobble is gonna do a little bit of different remixes of it, because I know he does that sometimes, you know.
Yeah, not as far as I know.
Okay,
as far as I know, that's the version that's there is the definitive version, and there may be some other remixes by other people. Yeah. It's possible that all those may come out on a CD at some stage.
I was gonna ask you if you guys are gonna make a CD, an album.
Yeah, I'm not so sure about an album. I think we'll take it and we'll see what happens. I think it's going to be remixes of the national anthem by maybe 2, 3, 4 people to come out on a CD, and then see how it goes from there. I know John's busy at the moment because he's actually recording a new Jah Wobble album. So I think he's pretty busy with that. But whether we pick this up at some stage in the future, that's up to him, really. You know, we'll see what happens. I mean, you know, personally, I'm up for it, but I realise that he's busy and he's in the middle of doing his own thing. So yeah.
Well, yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
So the website again is the dash Ukrainians.com. If people want to check that out. You guys have anything coming up? Any plans? Like anything?
Well, at the moment we're having a little bit of a rest. We were having a rest when we were only going to do one gig this year, and we were having a rest. But then two things happened. We got contacted by Mark about doing the Jah Wobble collaboration, and also, of course, the invasion happened, and so we started setting up a lot of gigs to raise money. We've got festivals in the UK for the rest of the year, and then I think we plan to take a break and kind of regroup and see what happens after that. I'm sure we'll be doing other things. We've got a couple of singles lined up. We've got ideas for a live album, for a radio sessions album. You know, quite a lot of things that are buzzing around. We just haven't worked out which order to do them in yet. Yeah,
well, you got a lot of stuff going on, and people want to, you know, check out the Ukrainians. They could just go to your website, and I think this is really updated. I think you update your, you know, the album, and you know the proceeds, things like that. So yeah.
The website's updated pretty often, and so you can find out more information there. Yeah, like I say, it's the Ukrainians with 2 I's in, and .com.
So you know, I think by now everybody should know how to spell the Ukrainians.
Yeah, I know. It's just one of those strange words that that people tend to very often spell wrongly, and yeah.
That's why we have that
That's
correct.
the name of the band,
Yeah.
because half the time, people try and search for us and they can't find us because they're spelling the band name wrong.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's why they have those correct, what do you call those those correct thing? It just corrects you.
Yeah.
If you do it right the first time, it'll just correct you. All the time you misspell it. But
yeah.
well, thank you for joining me on the show. I really enjoy speaking with you and finding out a little bit more about the Ukrainians. And good luck with your album and your music and this collaboration with Jah Wobble and helping the Ukrainian refugees and doing all of that. I think we all need that, and I'm so glad that more people are getting involved in doing that, and hopefully we'll have some resolution, some kind of peace down the road.
Yeah, I can't imagine what kind of form that's going to take, but hopefully for the sake of the people, there will be some kind of peace. But Ukrainians are very unlikely to want to give up any more territory. So it's the Ukrainians will fight to the end. So it's very hard to see how this will actually pan out, and I suspect it's going to be going on for some time. And that's why it's important for people not to forget, because things, as we know, tend to drop out of the news.
Right. Especially when there's another brand new situation.
But the previous situation is still going on. There are still people that have no money, nowhere to live, no medications, and so the continued support is needed. Don't think it's all over because it drops off the news. So please support refugees. Please give as much as you can, even if that's a small amount. That's absolutely fine. It all helps. When millions of people are doing that, it adds up to a lot of money. I would just please ask people to keep supporting. Yeah.
And of course, they can go to your website and take a link right there, and it's so easy to find it. If somebody's looking for
absolutely
a site to donate, some people don't know how to do it. They don't know where to go. They don't know what to trust. They could always go to the Ukrainians.com. UKRAINIANS.
.com, and or just buy the track, from Bandcamp, the Ukrainian National Anthem in dub, and all the money's from that. I don't know how much it costs for the track, probably £1, something like that. So it's so what's that? It's just over $1, isn't it? And all of that will go to the refugees. Nobody's taking any money out of that. So that's on Bandcamp. Jah Wobble, the Ukrainians.
Yeah, and also on Jah Wobble's page.
Yeah. Wow. So spend your money.
Everything counts. Every single thing counts, no matter what. A penny counts. Everything counts, right?
It does. I'm feeling a bit like Bob Geldof now. Give us your money.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you so much for joining me. I always appreciate.
Yeah.
Very much. All right.
Okay.
Len Liggins from the Ukrainians. Please like, subscribe, and share if you're watching on my YouTube channel. Hit that subscribe button. Thank you very much for supporting. And I'm going to turn this off for a moment. Let me see here. I always have this thing with trying to get this to. Okay, here we go. Well, thank you, Len. One moment.